I'll tell you the advice I give people. I ask them to make a list of their passions. What are they passionate about? And then if there's a way to make it even smaller, then make it even smaller. So it's like goat yoga for people over 50, or it could be Ferraris, but it could be only black Ferraris, black Ferrari fans, or whatever. Further down you can get,
yes,
the more kind of interesting you become, and the more natural people will think of somebody else. Oh, they're really into this too. Mushroom hunting. I know somebody, and they'll forward that channel to them.
Yep.
Versus, I like nature.
Yep.
Kind of just general.
Yep.
So is that good advice?
I think that the 3 Ps that I share, I did not come up with these, would start with the passion, exactly as you said. Write down 10 passions.
Okay.
The second P though, first is passion, is proficiency. Then I would actually look at the list and see which one are you best at, know the most about, have studied the most, that you think would keep you fascinated and passionate for at least 3 to 5 years. That it wouldn't be like high pressure to want to talk about it. It's the kind of thing too that maybe people come to you for advice for. And if they sit you down, some of these topics you talk a little bit about, but if they bring one up, you're like, oh, and it kind of lights you up. But then finally, profit, meaning which of those now. So if you had 10 things on the first list, eliminate it through the proficiency filter, and the last profit filter, which also could be a little bit of market research. How profitable would this topic be? Now, if that also then sequences in, of course, with how well aligned could that be with your company or product, it's also going to be the win-win. Because if people naturally subscribe, knowing what they're signing up for and understanding that you're a human guinea pig, and you love trying different products, and you're going to be talking about your experiences and the ups and downs, well, then that's what they're subscribing for. Some things are more aligned with, ultimately selling or commerce than others. So there's those 3 Ps. And then I totally agree with you. I think if you can niche down by gender, by age, by either pain point or category, and the more layers you have inside of there. So again, if you are helping millennial single moms ultimately learn how to earn extra money, and so they can support their family in its current state, and that's kind of your vision, then knowing who that is. And then even more so, there would be the demographics and psychographics. So if you could do demographics, is a lot weaker than psychographics in today's world. Demographics would just be, of course, kind of like age, ethnicity, and things like that. But psychographics, we're learning, are much more powerful. Like if you understand that someone is absolutely obsessed with The Walking Dead, or they're obsessed with, better than that would be, they shop at Whole Foods, they are in a yoga class, they probably live in Orange County,
know them,
or have that mindset. That kind of branding leads you towards the look, the feel of things, and their political persuasion is probably this. And sometimes people are afraid of going, no, like when you're that clear on things, you can really resonate. And the goal is not to just tactically make something up because it would be the best market to reach.
Your tribe.
It's to be the extension of those things that are true about you. And then it becomes, in a way, effortless. It's going to take work, but it's, you basically want to create a YouTube channel. It's called YouTube. It should be your tube. That is sort of an extension of basically who you are amplified.
I got it. So I got to go back to passion, proficiency, profit.
Yes.
The proficiency piece.
Yep.
Do you have to be proficient, or can you be passionate enough that you could be a curator, a searcher in that category, and just let people join you on the search? We're going to go find the best. We're going to go interview these different people that are great at this. We're going to share, all the different news about this type of thing. I'm going to lead you on this journey, and we'll get there together.
Yeah.
Can being a curator work?
Yeah. I think I heard Dean Graziosi teach about knowledge broker, reporter, or expert, results expert. One of the best places to start, but one of the best selling self-development books of all time, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill wasn't a results expert. He interviewed the experts. And so I think that's a massive opportunity. And one of the coolest ideas, by the way, I think starting an interview show.
You're being like a reporter, kind of.
Yeah.
An investigative reporter on a topic that you're passionate about. You just want to talk to every single person in the world about that particular topic. Who's all the big people? Who are beginners? Who's everybody? You're going to collect all the information, so you become the one source where everybody can go for that information.
100%. And it might be a lot of pressure. If you thought about, okay, I want to reach, moms on the West Coast, But like, man, I have so much to talk about. Well, if you interview different people that are other moms and you're outsourcing the content, you just want to, start messy and then work on your skills of pulling out great information from these other people who maybe have more experience. So then the knowledge broker would be that person who also can share somebody else's thing. Like if you don't have your own book, you could talk about somebody else's book as an affiliate, similar network marketing, and then reporter, exactly what we're talking about. But the cool thing about that process is also you become the results expert over time.
Over time. Yeah, you do.
Because you get to absorb the learnings. I think going back though to proficiency, I would want to address the natural insecurity and self-doubt that 99% of people listening to this probably have. I remember I was walking with my friend Heather, and she was deeply passionate about homeschooling, world schooling, unschooling.
Getting out of formal education.
It's kind of like getting out.
Homeschool.
Yeah. But it is kind of that, like, instead of, being plugged in, alternative
taking
schooling.
charge of your own kids.
Yeah. I'm like, you absolutely should start a YouTube channel. And I can tell, like, this is the thing you actually get the most excited about when I talk to you about it. She's like, well, what would I really say? And so I said, tell me this. What are like the 3 biggest mistakes new homeschool moms make? And she goes, oh, number one, like she didn't have to prepare when you prod somebody on the thing they're passionate about. And the key here though, is that you just have to be a few steps ahead. I also said, how many books have you read about homeschooling? She's like 5 easily. And there's like 5 more on my shelf. I'm going through them right now. Maybe it was a lot more than that. So I said, okay, you're way overthinking this. So a lot of times when I think about, again, if you were going to maybe want to encourage other moms, if you're just a few years ahead and your kids are still alive, you know what I mean? Very valuable. You just kept those.
They will corner you in a neighborhood get together and say, tell me everything you know.
And I think about if you got your real estate license and 12 months into it, you start thinking about what would I have done different in that first year? I would have done this different. These are the mistakes I made. And to that point, you should also be a curator still. These were the books I read. This was an advice a mentor gave me. And if you're just one step ahead, if you don't stop growing, then what ends up happening is then an audience can grow with you, and you just need to continually keep growing, keep learning, which you will do in the pain and the mistakes. Well, what if I make mistakes, or what if I fail? Well, everyone's going to at some point. And those become actually our greatest teachers, those mistakes. And mistakes are the stepping stones to success. So absolutely. I think there's something about if you're absolutely at zero, yes, you could start interviewing and whatnot. And if we take a bizarre rabbit trail, there's one other massive opportunity that's happening right now. And it's this idea of fair use content and actually doing OPC. So OPC stands for other people's content, not OPP like Naughty by Nature. It's OPC,
okay.
Other people's content. And because of fair use, what that means is that this is how people do YouTube channels about movies. And they use the clips, and they use clips from the movie, and they use sound and all this kind of stuff. The key is that if you're remixing it enough, you're adding your own voiceover and your own commentary. There's actually, if I get into a show, there's not a show now that I'll watch that I don't watch ending explain, Easter eggs from the episode. After I watch a movie, I'll watch like ending explained. A lot of times because I thought I got it, but I'll be like, wow, I didn't realize it was that deep. Somebody will be like, the motif was, and I was like, I just thought it was entertaining. And so I've just found that there's people who are passionate about movies, television, certain shows.
You can use that stuff.
And you can use that stuff under what's called fair use, because again, you can't just
play the movie.
There's also react channels. They're very powerful and popular format where you're allowed to react to other content. And this is a major thing, like jet fuel for a channel, because there was a statistic that said around a certain age that 50% of people would rather see their favorite content creator reacting to an event than watch the event themselves. So what's shifting is you might follow somebody and something happens in politics, something happens in the news, something happens in the industry, news breaks in the industry. You don't necessarily go directly to that news source. You want to hear their take to contextualize it. And in some cases, if it's a video media format, you can bring up the video and the audio and go live and play it and pause it and then speak over it. What becomes fascinating is how powerful that is, because nobody knows you yet. You could be being mentored just like we grew up pumped about listening to tapes in our car to learn, how to think and mindset and all this stuff. But you could actually dive into content and curate it. It's just one of the options. And again, a niche reference, but
you get a lot of production value out of that stuff and credibility from those other faces.
100%.